Have you ever heard that one piece of cloth could start a big war in politics? Not because of its price, not because of its color, but because of what it represents. Yes, I'm talking about the flag, a symbol that carries deep emotions, pride, and identity. In the United States, the flag is not just cloth. For many, it is the story of their nation, their struggles and their victories. But what happens when someone burns this flag? For some people, it feels like an attack on their country. For others, it is an act of protest, a way to show anger or a call for justice. And this is exactly where our story begins. Recently, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that makes flag burning a crime. This means people could be punished by law if they burn the flag. Supporters of Trump say, this is about protecting respect for our nation. Opponents say, wait, this goes against freedom of speech. You see, freedom of speech is one of the most important rights in America. It means people can express their opinions, even if those opinions are unpopular. And here lies the conflict: respect for the nation versus freedom for the people. In this story, we will not only follow the political debate, but also learn English step by step. By the end, you will understand new words like controversial, executive order, and freedom of speech, while also thinking deeply about the meaning of freedom and respect. So, are you ready to dive into the world of politics, language, and ideas? Let's begin. To understand this story, we need to go back in time. The debate about flag burning is not new in the United States. In fact, it has been part of American history for many years. Let's imagine a scene. It is the late 1960s. The Vietnam War is happening. Many young Americans are angry. They believe their government is making wrong decisions. So during protests, some people burn the American flag. To them, this act is not about hating their country. It is about demanding change. But for millions of others, the picture is painful. They see the flag as a symbol of sacrifice. Soldiers had died under that flag. Families had buried loved ones who fought for the nation. For them, burning the flag felt like burning their memory. Because of this tension, the question reached the Supreme Court of the United States. And in 1989, the court made a very important decision. Flag burning is a form of free speech. The judges said, you may not like it, but in a free country, people must have the right to express their opinions, even in ways that offend others. Since then, the issue has never disappeared. Every few years, politicians bring it back, saying the law should change. Some call it patriotism, love for the country. Others call it freedom, the right to disagree openly. And now, in 2025, President Trump has signed an executive order making flag burning a crime again. For his supporters, this is a strong message. Respect the nation, respect the flag. For his critics, it is dangerous. This is the first step toward limiting freedom. So you can see, this is not only a law, it is a battle of ideas. What matters more, respect or freedom? The news spread quickly. President Trump makes flag burning a crime. Television channels repeated it. Social media exploded with comments. Suddenly, everyone had something to say. At a rally, one supporter stood proudly and said, "This is about respect. The flag is sacred. If you burn it, you insult every soldier who died for this country." The crowd cheered, waving their flags in the air. For them, Trump's order was not just politics, it was protection of national pride. But across the city, in a university hall, the reaction was very different. Students held signs that read, "Freedom is not negotiable." One young woman spoke to the camera. If we lose the right to protest, we lose the heart of democracy. Today it's the flag. Tomorrow, what will it be? The debate became louder, sharper, more emotional. Politicians appeared on television. Some called the order necessary to bring unity. Others called it unconstitutional, meaning it goes against the American Constitution. The media called it a controversial decision. That word, controversial, is important. It means something that causes a lot of disagreement. And that is exactly what happened. Families argued at dinner tables. Friends argued online. Even legal experts disagreed about whether the president's action was legal or not. In Washington, lawyers immediately began preparing challenges. They planned to take the case back to the Supreme Court. Could the president really reverse a decision that had stood since 1989? The story was no longer just about cloth and fire. It became a test. How far can a government go to protect symbols? And how far can citizens go to protect their freedom? This moment shows us something powerful. Politics is not only about leaders, laws, or speeches. It is about values. And when values clash, society feels the heat. Politics is not only about rules, leaders, or speeches. It is also about values, the invisible ideas that guide how people live together. In our story, two powerful values are fighting for space: respect and freedom. On one side, people say, the flag is sacred. It represents our soldiers, our history, and our unity. If we do not protect it, we lose our respect as a nation. For them, Trump's decision feels strong and patriotic. It gives them a sense of pride. On the other side, people answer, freedom is the heart of democracy. If the government can punish me for burning the flag, what will they punish me for tomorrow? Free speech must stay free, even if it hurts some people's feelings. For them, the order feels dangerous, a step toward controlling voices. This is the heart of the reflection. Can a society protect symbols without limiting freedom? It is not an easy question. Different countries answer it in different ways. In some places, burning the flag is already illegal. In others, it is accepted as protest. For English learners, this story teaches more than vocabulary. It shows how language connects with ideas. Words like controversial, protest, and patriotism are not just words in a dictionary. They are alive in debates, speeches, and arguments. When you use them, you are not only speaking English, you are also joining a global conversation about rights, respect, and democracy. So here is my question for you. If you had to choose, which value would you protect first, respect or freedom? There is no easy answer, but thinking about it will make your English stronger and your mind sharper. We have followed this story step by step, from the moment President Trump signed the order, to the history of flag burning, to the passionate debates in society. We saw how one decision can open a door to big questions about respect, freedom, and democracy. But what does this mean for you as an English learner? It means that language is more than grammar or vocabulary. Language is a window into culture, history, and values. When you hear the word protest, you don't just learn the meaning. You imagine people standing together with signs, voices rising, emotions strong. When you hear patriotism, you see flags, celebrations, and a sense of belonging. Learning English through stories like this helps you feel the words, not only remember them. And when you feel them, they stay with you much longer. Now let's reflect for a moment. Imagine you are in America during this debate. Someone asks you, do you agree with the president's order? What would you say? In English? This is your chance to practice. Use the words you learned. Controversial, unconstitutional, freedom of speech, protest, patriotism. Build a short answer, even if it is only 1 or 2 sentences. Remember, the more you use new words, the stronger your English becomes. And the more you think about ideas in English, the more natural your communication will feel. So here is my challenge for you. Write your opinion in the comments. Do you believe protecting the flag is more important or protecting freedom of speech? There is no right or wrong answer, only your voice, your practice, your growth. And this is what English Corner is all about. Learning English naturally, through real stories that connect language with life. Every story is more than just news. It is a lesson, a mirror, and sometimes even a question that stays in our minds. Today, we explored a political story that divided a nation, but also taught us new words, new expressions, and new ways of thinking in English. Think about the words we practiced today. Controversial, protest, patriotism, unconstitutional. These are not small words. They are big, powerful words used in newspapers, speeches, and global debates. When you can use them, you step into the world as a confident English speaker. But more importantly, this story gave us a choice to think about. Do we value respect more or freedom more? Sometimes, English is not just about communication. It is about ideas. And when you learn to express ideas in English, your voice becomes stronger, your mind becomes wider. So, my friend, here is my invitation to you. Stay with us on this journey. Every week, we will bring you more stories about history, about success, about politics, about life. Stories that will challenge your mind and strengthen your English step by step. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't just stop here. Support this channel, English Corner, by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Join our community of learners who believe in growing through stories. Because remember, English is not something you study, it's something you live. And the more stories you live with us, the closer you will be to true fluency. Until next time, keep learning, keep thinking, and keep telling your story. Every story is more than just news. It is a lesson, a mirror, and sometimes even a question that stays in our minds. Today, we explored a political story that divided a nation, but also taught us new words, new expressions, and new ways of thinking in English. This is the beauty of learning a language through stories. You don't just memorize, you experience. You walk into the lives of people. You hear their voices. You feel their struggles. And while doing that, you grow. Not only in English, but also in understanding of the world. Think about the words we practiced today. Controversial, protest, patriotism, unconstitutional. These are not small words. They are big, powerful words used in newspapers, speeches, and global debates. When you can use them, you step into the world as a confident English speaker. But more importantly, this story gave us a choice to think about. Do we value respect more or freedom more? Sometimes English is not just about communication. It is about ideas. And when you learn to express ideas in English, your voice becomes stronger, your mind becomes wider. So, my friend, here is my invitation to you. Stay with us on this journey. Every week, we'll bring you more stories about history, about success, about politics, about life. Stories that will challenge your mind and strengthen your English, step by step. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't just stop here. Support this channel, English Corner, by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Join our community of learners who believe in growing through stories. Because remember, English is not something you study, it's something you live. And the more stories you live with us, the closer you will be to true fluency. Until next time, keep learning, keep thinking, and keep telling your story. Thanks for watching.